Hi everyone, this is Danielle Morse, the instructor for English 221 February term. This is my first screencast video lecture for this class. I will try to be doing these every week, but normally I do them on an as-needed basis. So if I think there's work during that particular module week that needs some clarification or something like that, I will do one of these video lectures and then post it in the announcements. So anyways, I want to welcome everyone to the course and just give kind of an overview of what you want to be doing for this first week and just a few other things in Canvas. Just a few things about myself. I am based in Los Angeles, so I'm on Pacific Standard Time, and I know you guys are currently in the process of doing the personal introduction, but I'm guessing that we're all scattered all over the place, which always I think makes for an interesting course. So I've been enjoying getting to know you guys so far, and I look forward to continue reading about everybody who's in the class and that sort of thing. So personal introductions are one of my favorite parts of this class. But anyways, so like I said, I'm in Los Angeles. My PhD is in literature, so I'm a Shakespearean and work in 16th and 17th century early modern dramas, revenge tragedy in particular. I'm a revenge scholar, but I also love teaching writing, and I love teaching technical writing as well. I was also a writing center director for 7 years, so all things writing I'm about. It's applicable to absolutely everybody. People often misconstrue or misunderstand that, you know, people think, oh, you're in literature, so you must be good at all the writing, but actually it's not the case. So we just might do more writing than other disciplines, but I definitely believe that writing, particularly technical writing, is really crucial to in any work environment because it really underscores how you professionally communicate. And really, it's about getting what you want. So, and that's and helping to communicate clearly to your audience. So, the major projects for this course include an instruction manual, a technical report, and then a grant proposal project that is a group team effort. And you will see, with the instruction manual, it's all about, clearly delineating instructions about how to do something in a way that your reader will understand. Same thing with a technical report where you kind of identify a technology or something along those lines and kind of make an argument about it, why it's good, why it's bad, why a company should adopt it, why they shouldn't, those sorts of things. And then with the grant proposal project, right, it's all about finding a CFP or call for proposals where you're wanting grant money, and it's how do we go about writing in a way where we can get this grant money, which is not an easy thing to do. So technical writing has a lot of facets to it. You're only covering kind of the surface of it in this course, but it's definitely going to be, or hopefully in theory, it's supposed to be applicable to kind of the everyday work environment for, on the job in the private sector, and sometimes the public sector. But so for this particular week, well, firstly, I want to say I always have, in every course I have on Canvas, I create this module called Handouts and Resources, and it's located just above Module 1, and that's where it will be the entire term. And I do put in here, under Handouts and Resources, I put in PowerPoints of the chapters that you'll be reading throughout the course of the term, and I might put in something else, here or there, but it's mostly going to be, related to the reading. So you definitely want to read through the chapters. Chapter 1 is really short, and then Chapter 7 is a little bit longer. It just kind of takes you through the different, a few of the different genres of kind of professional technical writing, things like the emails and the memos. And the memos especially is important because you're probably going to you might get sick of writing memos because almost everything you put forth in this class is going to be in a memo format. Almost everything, not everything, but so getting familiar with the memo format, if you're not already, is a really important part of this class, and it does constitute, part of the grades of the assignments that ask you to write in a memo format. So it's definitely one thing that Chapter 7 is there for you at the beginning of the course, is because it does focus on memos. So so for Module 1, and this will be a shorter video lecture. Normally my video lectures run about 20 to 30 minutes for English 221. This will be shorter because it's the first week, and I haven't really had a chance to see where everybody's at in terms of work performance. So there's not much for me to kind of address yet, where I'm seeing, or, where I might see once people have started doing work, where people might, need more instruction or need more help. And that usually, so once I see how students are performing, that's when I'll kind of make a decision about, okay, maybe people need a little bit more instruction about this, or people might be a little bit confused about that. And so that usually informs some of the video lectures that I do. But so the first week, the personal introduction is one of the first things that you want to do, and that's to get, for me to get to know you, but also for you to get to know your fellow classmates who are in this online course. So the two kind of things you're going to see throughout this term and every module is discussion and oftentimes reflection. So discussion and reflections are going to make up a large part of this class, and the reflections especially, they might cut, like sometimes there's a lot of reflections. Let me see if I can give an example. Like next week, you have your first reflection, which is an audience analysis. But some weeks, and I'm wondering if I can find one right off the bat. Yeah, here. So in Module 4, when we're doing visual redesign, there is a reflection on designing visuals, and then there's visual redesign with reflection memo. So sometimes there are modules that have multiple reflections in a week, so that sometimes can get a little confusing, because it's like, well, are these the same reflection memos? Are they different? So just know that. And then here, right, discussion memo, rhetorical reflection memo. So in this week, there's 3 different instances of reflection. So you're going to see the words discussion and reflection a lot. So hopefully it'll be clear, but I will, like I said, be posting these video lectures to try to help clarify where things might be a little bit confusing. And I do that also because in online courses at Embry-Riddle, there is a course developer, and I don't know if there's a place on here where it shows it to you. It does in other courses, but I don't see it for this one. They're course developers, and then the instructors, like myself, we deliver the curriculum. So for online courses, the instructors don't develop the curriculum. So we are not in charge of writing the assignments and or creating the rubrics that go along with assignments. We deliver the instruction and then grade based on the provided rubrics. So there are times when something might need, in my opinion, a little bit more explanation or a little bit more clarification on what that assignment is asking for, and so I try to supplement those criteria through these video lectures. And also, you can always ask me questions. You can email me or message me in Canvas if you have any questions about an assignment as well, and I'm happy to clarify for you that way as well. So this week, personal introduction, you have a fun grammar mechanics workshop because there is a quiz on the parts of speech. And you're going to have there's not many quizzes in this term, but all the quizzes are related to grammar. So, because it's trying to emphasize that technical writing, the benefit in grammar and technical writing is because technical writing, it's Spartan, meaning that it's quite short. It's not fancy. It's not what we call ornamental writing. It's shorter documents, so you're not writing like 5 or 10 page essays, and things like, especially when we think about an instruction manual, the way it's written has to be really clear, and therefore any problems with grammar or kind of a failure to address those sentence level mechanics of, what are parts of speech and how do they function, and how does that inform the meaning making process for my reader. Same with punctuation, same with syntax, or how you order the words you choose to use. So all those types of things are, if there's less of, well, what I'm trying to say is they're more easily spotted in technical writing, because if there are issues with grammar, punctuation, syntax, all of those types of things, because the type of writing is shorter and it's more to the point. So it's much more noticeable and problematic in technical writing than, say, other types of writing like academic writing, where you're writing research papers and essays and anything like that. So that's why there's an emphasis on grammar. And an example I can think of is, say there is a safety manual for a type of aircraft, or how to fix something on this particular type of aircraft, and then it's going to be an instruction manual on how to fix that. So you want to make sure that, that's a really high stakes writing situation, because if the reader doesn't understand the manual or misinterprets something in the manual because of a grammar problem or a punctuation issue, that can be disastrous if those instructions aren't read correctly. So punctuation and parts of speech and syntax and all that stuff is really crucial to conveying really important information to your readers, or to whomever might be reading it. Then you have the reading for this week. So that's the chapter 1 and the chapter 7. And I've already posted the PowerPoints for those. If you want to look at them, you don't have to. They're just there to provide kind of an overview of the chapters, but I definitely encourage you to also look through the chapters, because the PowerPoints don't address everything in the chapter, or in the chapters. And then you have a discussion memo. So this is kind of the quote-unquote major assignment. There's not like any heavy assignments for this first week. And let me make this a little bit larger. But the discussion memo on noticing technical writing is where you are asked to locate 3 artifacts of technical writing. And so there's the location of the 3 artifacts, and then you describe each of the artifact in one sentence, right? Or you can provide the artifact itself or a link to the artifact. So that's really just to give me information about what is the artifact, or here's a link that will take me to the artifact. And then for each of those artifacts, and I'll talk a little in a second about what an artifact means, you want to answer each of these questions for each artifact. So, what is the artifact's purpose? What's the context? And does it successfully communicate its purpose within the specific context in which it exists? And then why or why not? And for all discussions, it's always going to ask you, when I say it, I mean the course. The discussion assignments are going to request that you post by the 3rd day of the module week, which is it's always going to be on Sunday, because our module weeks start on Friday. So, and this is because for all discussion assignments, you're going to be asked to respond to 3 of your classmates. So this will always be the same. So anytime you see a discussion assignment, you'll want to plan to post by the 3rd day of the module week, so by Sunday. And then because there's supposed to be what we call a dialogic environment or exchange of dialogue between the post and your classmates' posts. So you want to give your classmates time to look at what you post and respond to that. And you also want to have time to do the assignment and think about it so that when you look at your classmates' posts, you can respond meaningfully to those posts. And the posts are always the same length. So they're always 75 to 100 words. So not very much. The discussion assignments will dip and dive throughout the course. So for this one, it's 250 words or less. Sometimes it's shorter. I don't think they're usually longer than that. But memos are not supposed to be verbose and really long and wordy. So they're supposed to be to the point, and every word needs to count in getting your point across. So when we talk about artifacts, and this isn't specific to technical writing, but an artifact is really just an example of just something in particular. So for example, like I said, I work in literature, and sometimes I'll use literature and Shakespeare as an example because it's the field with which I'm most familiar. It's where I have some expertise. But when I work with Shakespeare, those texts, Hamlet, for example, is an artifact. So it's a textual artifact, it's a literary artifact that has a demonstration of something that is specific to something. That's really vague, but it is an artifact of a particular time period. So it's an artifact of, the late 17th century when it was composed. It has language that is demonstrative of the particular time period and the context. So it's a dramatic context. And so that functions as an artifact. So we can talk about texts as artifacts because all texts are artifacts. They are all what we say always already artifacts because they are demonstrative of a particular context and setting. So a technical writing artifact is just that. It's something that demonstrates or is demonstrative of technical writing. And chapter 7 goes through, like I said, a few genres of technical writing, like the emails and the memos, and so on. So when you're looking for artifacts online, you want to be looking for examples of technical writing. And that might be an easier way to say it than artifacts. Artifacts is just kind of the disciplinary way of talking about it, but artifacts are really just examples. So, Hamlet is an example of late 17th century, early modern revenge tragedy, right? And then, for a technical writing artifact, maybe it's a white paper, maybe it's an instruction manual, maybe it's a technical report, maybe it's a press release, maybe it's a memo, maybe it's, so it can really be anything, as long as it contains and is written technically, for the purpose of, providing technical information. And I don't mean technical in terms of technology. It can be, but it can transcend that. Technical writing is, writing that is specific to it's not, well, it is research. This is where it can get confusing to talk about technical writing versus academic writing. But the major thing that you want to look for in these 3 artifacts of technical writing is that, like I said, they are demonstrative of technical writing. They're examples of technical writing. And a student asked me a question about this, which I thought is a really good question, because if you're not used to seeing the word artifact, it has a potential to be unclear. So, and this is what I told that student is, it's something that is an example of technical writing, and you can, maybe there's a company you work for or a company that you have a lot of interest in, or maybe it's one you want to work for. And then you can go to their website and see what they might have on there that is technically written, because companies do produce a lot of the things that they put on their websites are technical writing. Or you might work for a company that you have further access to technical documents. So there might be an instruction manual you work with or anything like that. So you can find these anywhere online. But if you have any questions about that, about locating these artifacts, or if you've found some and you're not sure if they work for the assignment, you're welcome to send them my way, and I can just give them a quick look and let you know. But that's all the assignments you have for this week. You want to make sure you look through the syllabus, which I've already kind of talked about in my welcome announcement. The other thing that I talked about in my announcement from yesterday, my second announcement, was the online office hours space. So like I said in the announcement yesterday, you click on discussions and then you click on the online office, and then I have the office hours in there. So, and I do remind people that I'm in California, but all the times that you'll see, including my office hours and all of the times for due dates, everything is in Eastern Standard Time, and that's because that was just kind of a general rule that seemed to make the most sense. We said, okay, well, Embry-Riddle is headquartered in Florida, in Daytona Beach, so let's just make everything Eastern Standard Time to keep it as simple as possible, because, students in these classes are oftentimes scattered all over the place. So if we just have one time zone, that's the word I'm looking for, one time zone that we think about, let's use that. So everything is always going to be in Eastern Standard Time. So, and I always, if I ever remind people about due dates, I'll always remind people it's in 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is always usually the due date. But you can post to me in here. So even during my office hours, when I'm in here, I recommend messaging me via Canvas or sending me an email, just because I'll get the ding on my phone, the little ping on my phone, which is always with me. If I'm at my computer and if I'm not refreshing my online office, I might not see your question. There might be a lag in when I see your question. So that's why I'm saying it's sometimes better. This doesn't ping me, whereas a Canvas message or an email will ping me. So that's why I'm saying it's sometimes better to message me with any questions or thoughts or concerns or anything through Canvas or via my email. Although you are more than welcome to. I do try to refresh, and during the office hours, like, refresh and make sure there's nothing there that I'm missing. But other than that, I am happy to meet with people by appointment. So if you ever want to meet virtually, I meet with people usually via Skype and sometimes FaceTime. So if that's ever something you want to do, just reach out to me and let me know, and we can schedule a time that works for both of us. So that's everything I've got for now. Like I said, I look forward to getting to know everyone from their personal introductions for this week and throughout the course of the term. And don't ever hesitate to reach out. I do my best to get back to people as soon as possible. So the Embry-Riddle rule, and this is standard in all universities and colleges, is getting back to people within 48 hours. So if you send a message, you need to give your instructor, not just me, all of your instructors, at least 48 hours to get back to you. I have a pretty good record of answering within 24 hours or less. Usually it's within a few hours. So, but that's not always the case. But you do want to make sure that you give your instructors the 48 hours to get back to you. So, all right. So that's all I got. I will be around, of course, if you have any questions. And I hope you are all having a great weekend wherever you are. And bye for now.